Imagine a world where the ultimate act of obedience, sacrifice, and unwavering faith becomes the very foundation of a civilization's spiritual ethos. A world in which the story of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. shines as an eternal beacon of submission to Allah's will. The great sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. is not merely a historical event. It is a profound narrative that touches every aspect of faith, morality, and human devotion, influencing generations of believers. From the sublime verses of the Holy Quran to the enlightening sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, this event stands as a testament to the strength of one's commitment to divine command. As we delve into this narrative, we explore the intricate tapestry of faith, trust, and unparalleled sacrifice that defines the legacy of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. The story of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. begins with his relentless search for the truth in a world steeped in polytheism and ignorance. Disenchanted by the superficial worship of idols, Ibrahim A.S. posed piercing questions about the nature of existence and the true creator of the universe. In his quest for knowledge, Allah revealed to him the reality of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, setting him on a path that would forever alter the spiritual landscape of humankind. The Quran states, "And who is more unjust than one who forges a lie against Allah or says, 'It has been revealed to me,' while nothing has been revealed to him?" Quran 40:26, a verse that encapsulates the divine opposition to falsehood. Ibrahim's A.S. relentless pursuit of truth and his profound transformation into a servant of Allah is the precursor to the ultimate test of faith, a test that would define the contours of true submission. In an awe-inspiring command that resonates with both fear and hope, Allah instructed Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. to offer his most beloved possession, his son, as a sacrifice. This divine command is highlighted in Surah As-Safat, where Allah narrates the moment of Ibrahim's A.S. submission. And when he, his son, was old enough to walk with him, he said, "O my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. So see what you think." He said, "O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me, if Allah wills, of the steadfast." Quran 37:102. This verse captures the dramatic moment of revelation and the dialogue between father and son, illustrating the profound trust between them and the limitless faith they shared in Allah's decree. The readiness of Hazrat Ismail A.S. to submit to the divine will, paired with Ibrahim's A.S. unwavering obedience, showcases an extraordinary model of sacrifice that has since become emblematic of pure devotion in the Islamic tradition. Historically, this moment of sacrifice has been commemorated not only as an act of obedience, but as a profound lesson in the values of selflessness and absolute surrender to Allah. Scholars and exegeses over centuries have stressed that the underlying theme of this narrative transcends the literal act. It is a call to every individual to prioritize their relationship with Allah above all worldly attachments. Tafsir Ibn Kathir explains that the episode signifies the total reordering of human priorities, a reorientation from the material to the spiritual realm. In this light, the sacrifice is not merely the physical offering of one's son, but rather a symbolic relinquishing of all that is dear in the pursuit of divine closeness. The event thereby echoes the foundational Islamic precept that true success lies in achieving nearness to Allah through sincere worship and submission. The legacy of Hazrat Ibrahim's A.S. sacrifice is further enriched by numerous hadith that illuminate its significance in both spiritual and practical dimensions. In one well-known narration from Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, reminded his followers, The example of the believers in their love, mercy, and compassion for one another is that of a body. If one limb suffers, the whole body responds with restlessness and fever. Although not directly quoting the event, this hadith reflects the same spirit of selflessness and communal solidarity that the sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. epitomizes. Another narration in Sunan Abu Dawud emphasizes the virtue of sacrifice in the path of Allah, drawing parallels between the personal sacrifice of a believer and the historical sacrifice of Ibrahim A.S. and his progeny. Such narrations serve as a moral compass, guiding Muslims to prioritize divine obedience and communal welfare over personal ambitions and material gains. Beyond the layers of ritual and remembrance lies the rich symbolism embedded in the story of the great sacrifice. Hazrat Ibrahim's A.S. unwavering commitment to Allah, even in the face of the most excruciating test, symbolizes the ultimate merging of human will with divine decree. His readiness to part with his most cherished blessing is not viewed as an act of irrational submission. Rather, it is a deliberate demonstration of the deep-seated belief that nothing is more precious than Allah's pleasure. The Quran emphasizes, "And he was not arrogant, nor was he a possessor of all power. He was only a servant. So call upon him and devote yourself to him." Quran 37:102 commentary by scholars. This spirit of humility and complete reliance on Allah is what every believer is encouraged to emulate. It is a call to strip away the ego, to accept life's challenges with grace, and to recognize that every trial is a step towards ultimate salvation. The commemoration of this sacrifice takes on profound practical meaning during the Islamic festival of al-Adha. This festival is more than a celebration. It is a living reminder of the values instilled by Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. Families around the world gather to perform the ritual sacrifice of an animal, commemorating the willingness of Ibrahim A.S. and his son to obey Allah's command. The meat from the sacrifice is then distributed among family, friends, and those in need, symbolizing the spirit of sharing and generosity that is inherent in the Islamic tradition. This act of giving, inspired by the profound narrative of sacrifice, reinforces the importance of community support and social solidarity. It reminds believers that true faith is not demonstrated solely through ritual observance, but through tangible acts of charity and kindness in everyday life. Reflecting on the psychological and emotional dimensions of this narrative, one cannot help but be moved by the intense inner struggle that Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. and his son faced. Their story encapsulates the human experience of grappling with loss, fear, and uncertainty, yet choosing to trust in a higher purpose. In a modern context, the tale serves as a metaphor for the various sacrifices we are all called to make in pursuit of our values and dreams. It is a timeless reminder that the path to righteousness is often paved with personal sacrifices, and that true contentment is found not in the accumulation of material wealth, but in the pursuit of spiritual fulfillment. This lesson, deeply embedded in the Quranic account and the prophetic traditions, encourages every believer to ask themselves, what am I willing to sacrifice in order to achieve closeness to the divine? The multifaceted lessons derived from the sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. also extend to the realms of ethics and interpersonal relationships. His life teaches us that loyalty, compassion, and trust are non-negotiable principles in the fabric of human society. The exemplary behavior demonstrated by both father and son under extreme circumstances underscores the importance of ethical conduct in times of crisis. Their story provides a counter-narrative to the often self-centered modern ethos, offering instead a blueprint for how societies can thrive when built on the pillars of mutual respect, selflessness, and collective well-being. This message resonates particularly in today's global landscape, where challenges such as economic inequality, social injustice, and interpersonal mistrust are pervasive. The sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim, A.S., invites us to re-examine our priorities, to align our actions with higher ethical standards, and to foster relationships rooted in empathy and altruism. Moreover, the narrative of Hazrat Ibrahim's A.S. sacrifice has played a critical role in interfaith dialogue throughout history. Both the Jewish and Christian traditions revere Ibrahim as a patriarch of faith, recognizing his extraordinary commitment and exemplary character. In the Bible, for instance, the story of Abraham and Isaac bears striking similarities to the Quranic account, despite nuanced differences that highlight distinct theological perspectives. This common ground has often served as a bridge in interfaith discussions, allowing believers from diverse backgrounds to engage in meaningful conversations about faith, sacrifice, and the nature of divine command. By highlighting the shared values of devotion and sacrifice, the story of Hazrat Ibrahim, A.S., contributes to a broader understanding of humanity's collective spiritual journey, a journey that transcends cultural and religious boundaries. Scholars have long debated the symbolic meanings embedded in this narrative. Some contemporary thinkers argue that the sacrifice represents the ultimate test of free will versus determinism, illustrating that even the strongest human bond, when placed before divine order, must yield to the higher wisdom of the Creator. This perspective is echoed in numerous academic works and commentaries that examine the interplay between destiny and human agency. It is often noted that the emotional intensity of the narrative is intended to remind believers that true freedom lies in the conscious surrender to Allah's will, rather than in the illusion of complete self-sufficiency. This surrender, as demonstrated by Hazrat Ibrahim, A.S., and his son, is the ultimate act of courage, an act that transforms human vulnerability into a conduit for divine mercy and guidance. The impact of Hazrat Ibrahim's A.S. sacrifice continues to be felt in the everyday lives of millions around the world. His life story is frequently invoked in sermons, lectures, and discussions as a timeless illustration of how faith can serve as a guiding light in even the darkest of times. Contemporary Muslim thinkers and spiritual leaders draw on this narrative to encourage deeper introspection, to challenge the status quo, and to inspire acts of selflessness in both personal and public spheres. Whether it is through efforts to alleviate social injustice, initiatives to promote economic equity, or movements dedicated to preserving the sanctity of family and community, the spirit of Ibrahim's A.S. sacrifice remains an enduring source of inspiration and transformation. In the realm of personal development and spirituality, the lessons from Hazrat Ibrahim's A.S. life continue to resonate deeply. His story serves as a powerful reminder that true greatness is not measured by worldly achievements or accumulated wealth, but by the steadfastness of one's faith and the willingness to place one's trust completely in the Creator. The Quran repeatedly encourages believers to reflect on the lives of the prophets, viewing their struggles and triumphs as mirrors for one's own journey towards spiritual perfection. As stated in Quran 33:21, there has certainly been for you in the Messenger of Allah an excellent pattern for anyone whose hope is in Allah and the Last Day. Hazrat Ibrahim, A.S., is indeed that excellent model, a shining example of courage, selflessness, and unwavering trust in Allah. In conclusion, the great sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim, A.S., is far more than a historical account. It is a luminous chapter in the annals of faith that continues to educate, inspire, and transform lives. It challenges us to redefine our values, to embrace the virtues of sacrifice and selflessness, and to cultivate a relationship with Allah that transcends the ephemeral and reaches for the eternal. Through the divine commands recorded in the Quran, such as in Surah As-Safat, Quran 37:102, and the reinforcing messages from the Hadith literature, the legacy of Hazrat Ibrahim, A.S., calls on every believer to rise above worldly temptations and to anchor their lives in the timeless principles of justice, humility, and submission to the Almighty. In a world increasingly driven by immediate gratification and material pursuits, the story of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. remains a timeless antidote, a profound reminder that true fulfillment is found in the courageous act of surrendering one's innermost desires for the sake of a higher purpose. The willingness of Hazrat Ibrahim A.S. and his beloved son to accept Allah's command, regardless of the personal cost, stands as a clarion call to all humanity. That faith, when truly embraced, transforms life into a journey of sacrifice, love, and enduring hope. As we reflect on this monumental event, may the lessons of devotion, selflessness, and unwavering trust in Allah inspire us to build lives and communities that honor the true essence of submission, where every act of sacrifice is a step toward a more just, compassionate, and enlightened world.